My, oh my, the promised Neverland. How does the mangaka every week make such a spectacular chapter? You could say whatever you want about Ray. You could say that this man is despicable and cannot be forgiven. You could call him an edgy little boy. But you cannot tell me that what he's doing right now, he's grounded in realism. He's looking at the true, bigger picture and the top priorities of escaping the farm. Ray, on paper, it looks like he's an asshole. But in reality, he's just saying the cold, hard truth. He is saying, Norman, it's between me and you. Yes, I am a spy. Yes, I have been feeding Isabella information all along. But I have known since I was 6. Now, when that was revealed, that lets us know one thing. We always assumed that, Ray, Norman, and Emma were equals. Pretty much equals in terms of brain power. Well, for Ray to figure this out at the age of 6, way before Emma and Norman found out, it was thanks to Ray letting them know how they found out in the first place. Ray is on a whole new level of intelligence, but we have to think about how much pressure he has on his shoulders. At the age of 6, and for 6 years, working for Isabella, and feeding her information, watching the kids, knowing about what really happens to the people around you, you gotta realize what type of mental stress Ray was under throughout that entire time. You have to realize as a young kid, that's going to be enough to break a normal person, but since he was so intelligent, probably very mature for his age, that's why he did not break down. But clearly throughout this chapter, we see signs of him being through a hell of a lot these past 6 years. His facial expression when he shows this evil, demented face, many might think he's trying to lie or he might be trying to pull something against Norman, but I don't think it's that. I think the reason why the mangaka emphasized his facial expression so much was because he's broken. He's someone that hasn't, had a time to rest or relax these past 6 years is because he's been constantly stressing out how to save people. And over all these 6 years, he's got to see the greater picture, the big picture. He knows that not everybody's going to make it out. Not everybody's going to be able to live. He's going to sacrifice the many to save the few. And I feel very bad for Ray, because we don't even really know all the stress he's been through. I mean, it seemed like he was having a good time. Like, he got a lot of toys and stuff like that. Gaming consoles like a PSP from what we could saw from the little flashback. But overall, though, that's not enough to distract someone from the true matter at hand, what he's been trying to, grow this entire time for the past 6 years. He's been slowly plotting and figuring out how he can escape from the orphanage, how he can escape from the farm, and now the plan is finally being set into motion. And him telling Norman this, it's in his way he's saying, look, I know how Isabella really is. I know how she's been acting, and this entire time I knew all the information. Everything that's led up to this very moment, you finding out about, the farm, to how, what really happens to the children, to, all these different little plans I've kind of manipulated on the side, it's thanks to me. I'm the one that's slowly been allowing you to kind of go down the proper path to where you don't get caught by Mama. And with Ray doing this, it shows you how intelligent he is. I mean, we always thought, like, Norman was the most intelligent out of the 3, but apparently it's actually Ray. Ray is the really smart one, and it's not just Norman or Emma, but Ray is super, super, super intelligent. Now, one of the big things about this, though, is that Ray tells Norman, hey, I know Emma, she is very naive. She wants to save everyone. She is putting everyone at risk for wanting to save everyone. And if this was a normal shonen, I would assume that everything is going to be fine and that Emma was going to save all the children. That's what I assume. That's what I assume would happen, because it's a shonen. But since the Promised Neverland has already shown key signs that's way different from the normal shonen, it's already, kind of talked about how naive our main female character is and how that needs to change, and how Ray is now and how he wants to be really realistic about the true problem, and he's talking about to Norman about it. the display of some of these things about this manga series is completely different from the normal shonen. So, at the end of the day, I don't think Emma's going to get what she wants. I feel like she's going to lose a lot because of what's about to happen. And Ray, him wanting to tell Norma, like, hey, you need to lie to Emma. You could say, yes, you want to save everybody, but when everything gets towards the end of the final initiation of the plan, we need to cut them. They need to be completely cut off the plan. We just can't. Then we cannot bring them. We can bring the other 2 oldest kids, but we cannot bring them because they're dead weight. I mean, even if they're good, even if they're smart, they will slow us down and we'll get caught. Because once we're outside the walls, we're going to have it to where people are going to be hunting us down, trying to get back their cattle, their livestock, and that's what's going to happen. So he's like, no, right at this time, we do not have the time to waste on these kids. We need to be focusing on our escape. So he's looking at the bigger picture, and he's trying to make Norman see the bigger picture as well, because they're going to need to lie to Emma throughout the entirety of this escape, and then eventually when the going gets, tough, they're gonna pretty much cut all the kids, and then probably, I could see Emma not really liking what's about to happen, and they'll probably knock her out or something, and probably drag her over the fence with him. I could see that happening. I can definitely see that happening. For instance, like, there's a confrontation between the 3 trio. You have to Ray, Norman, and Emma. They're having a conversation. They realize the kids are not coming, or Emma realizes, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? We gotta go back, and all of a sudden, I could see maybe Ray and Norman, like, knock her out or something to bring her over the wall, just because, that is the only way that they could stop her from going back and endangering everyone else's lives. Or I could see it to where one of the characters, like Ray or Norman, they sacrifice herself after, I guess Emma's knocked out, and they probably die to save them. Something along the lines of that is probably going to happen. But let's get back into the real importance of this, though, with all the children dying. I'm actually happy this is happening for one good reason. It stops from having a bloated cast. This is not Assassination Classroom. I'm just going to be brutally honest here. This is not Assassination Classroom. Assassination Classroom worked with its big, large cast because of how the mangaka wrote the series. Now, I'm not saying that this mangaka is not talented enough to do that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, overall, the main foundation block for The Promised Neverland It's not about having a lot of characters. It's about seeing some of these characters develop and become extremely developed characters, like what's going on right now with Ray and Norman. Emma will eventually probably reach her development when she realizes she's very naive and she needs to change her viewpoint of the world. So right now, I don't feel like, the mangaka should focus too much on a big cast. All these children being cut and pretty much going to be getting killed off makes me believe that all the other characters, like the 3 main characters or the 5 main characters, are going to get the main central development while the other kids are just going to be killed off, and it's not going to bloat the cast up too big. So that's something I'm actually quite excited for, because one of the big problems with manga or any type of anime or manga is to where the cast gets too big and you just can't really care about certain set characters, or they don't get enough screen time to give them development. And at the end of the day, this also isn't Tokyo Ghoul, where Ashita has this character development going on the side without, really saying anything with certain panels. This isn't Tokyo Ghoul as well, or a seinen. So I feel like the mangaka kind of probably scrapping off all these other kids and then focusing on the main 5 characters is a very good move, and I hope that's the direction we go down, unless the mangaka surprises me and we get all the development for these little kids throughout the entirety of the cast. Now, getting off of that, let's talk about one of the other bigger things about this. So, Ray apparently knows how to get rid of the trackers. He knows how to disable them. And if I had to kind of make any bets or assume anything, I think it has something to do with whatever he's ordering and what he has the mother ordering for him. Remember, he said, you got my package coming for me? It's like, yeah, it'll be here in like 2 to 3 days. So whatever he's ordered most likely is going to be a key to their escaping of the farm. I could see something like that. But here's the big thing. Isabella. She's not stupid. She is not stupid. She's not stupid at all. She's shown to be very, very skilled. Very smart. The panels, I think it was on page like 16 or 18 is one of those pages. There was a page to where Ray was trying to clarify that, yes, he's trustworthy. Yes, he's been working with Isabella the entire time, and there's no way you shouldn't trust me. He was just talking to Isabella like that. He's like, I'm a very trustworthy person. And all of a sudden, Isabella starts saying, like, oh yes, but this is your problem you caused and all that because you aren't watching the kids. And then we had a little scene with the stuffed animal. And this hints that Isabella knows the truth about how Norman and Emma found out. And so that has me worried. Isabella might know what's going on and might know what Ray is trying to pull, which could overall fuck him in the very end. So I'm kind of worried overall if Isabella knows about what Ray is going to do, because knowing this mangaka, how there has been twist every single chapter, I could see Isabella knowing about what Ray is trying to do because of how he initiated Emma and Norman finding out in the first place. And I think she was completely aware of why the stuffed animal was there in the first place, thanks to what Ray was doing. So yeah, I could see the mother finding out about that and probably causing a lot of problems to where Ray can't initiate whatever he wants to initiate. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.